In the last 6 months alone, I have spoken to more than 100 business owners about their plans. And here's what I can say. Most business owners consider selling too late. And by the time they realize that they've already missed the most valuable window of time in their financial life. Hi, I'm Ryan Guth. I'm the author of Permission to Exit, Prepare to Sell Your Business Without Regret. I'm also a certified financial planner professional, personal wealth advisor and strategist for owners of businesses that range in value from $7 to $70 million. Owners of 7- and 8-figure businesses are growth-oriented risk takers. They tend to drive the business as far as they can until they come to a roadblock or a terrain that they can't seem to overcome on their own. And that makes sense. When do we call for help? When we're stuck. That's human nature. Those with entrepreneurial DNA want to see how far they can go as a leader first. So here's the issue. And I know it's going to sound counterintuitive, but I'm going to say it anyway. The best time to call for help, or even hand the keys to a new driver, is when you're on smooth terrain and gaining speed. It's when everything's going right. So in this video, I'm going to show you why selling before you think you should, sometimes years before, could literally double or even triple your total exit outcome. So when I was a kid, I used to jump off the swings at the playground. I mean, who didn't? Come on, so there was this one rule I learned the hard way. If you jump on the way up, you fly. If you jump on the way down, you eat wood chips. That's exactly how selling a business works, and I call it swing theory. In my opinion, lots of business owners have it backwards. They think, I'll sell when I'm no longer challenged, or I'll sell when growth slows, when it's less fun. I'll sell when I'm ready to be done. That feels logical, and it might even sound responsible. But that thought process could actually be eating your lunch. So let's dig deeper. Buyers, especially financial buyers like private equity funds or family offices, don't pay for what your business is today. They pay for where it's going. They're buying the future story of your company. And if your growth is slowing because the business is less exciting than it used to be, or maybe it's just stable because you've built a great team and it's able to run without your day-to-day involvement, or maybe your family circumstances have changed and now you feel pulled to spend more time with your spouse or kids. See, personally, that's all good, healthy stuff. But think back to the playground swing analogy. In the circumstances I just listed, ask yourself this: are you on the upswing or the downswing? And stability isn't growth. If you're not growing, you're shrinking. So choosing to sell after growth has slowed means you're trying to sell a compelling future at a time that you've stopped believing in a compelling future. In my opinion, you'll begin negotiations from a place of weakness. So you may have gotten a little fat, dumb, and happy, and I can't blame you. You've got a good business. But this will inevitably lead to lower multiples, more deal friction, potentially a higher concentration of customer revenue. There's a chance that your customers also got fat, dumb, and happy along with you. At the end of the day, you'll have less leverage at every step of the process. But when you sell on the upswing, when the numbers are strong, the growth story is believable, and the momentum is visible, then everything changes. You're confident, you're selective, and you don't need the deal. And buyers can feel that. I have a client in the event production space doing nearly $11 million in revenue and on track for about $2 million in annual profit. He made it through COVID, pivoted as necessary, and everything's working. The team is strong, revenue is climbing, and the energy is high. The business has real momentum. And he recently said to me somewhat tiredly, I think I'll ride this another 5 years. That sounds reasonable, but here's what those 5 years look like in practice. The space continues to consolidate and private equity-backed companies start underbidding and eating his lunch. New competitors enter with jetpacks. Key people get old and retire. Personal energy fades because attention gets spread thin. Aging parents need care, kids need more attention, and the business that looked unstoppable on the upswing slowly starts to flatten, or worse. And by the time he's ready to sell, the growth story that would have commanded a premium is gone. And so is a significant portion of his potential exit value. So instead, we're exploring selling now, while he's still on the upswing. This one timing decision will change his entire financial outcome. Now here's where this gets interesting. From my conversations, I get the impression that people don't realize that there's an obligation beyond closing the sale of your business. I work with business owners of boring businesses mostly. These people were highly skilled in their trade and built themselves a job that turned into something more, maybe even over multiple generations. The company wasn't founded to exit necessarily. It was built to run as long as possible to serve the needs of the founder's family and their customers. The term EBITDA wasn't even in their vernacular when they started. So here's my point. When you sell to private equity, you're often not done. In many cases, you're just getting started on the next chapter. PE buyers almost always require you to stay involved, continue leading growth, and critically, roll a portion of your proceeds back into the deal. They want you to have skin in the game. They're buying your business partly because of you, and they need you aligned with what happens next. Here's what this actually looks like. So let's say you sell your business for $20 million, and you roll 20%, so $4 million back into the fund that acquired you. Now, you're partnered with a PE firm that brings capital, talent, and systems, maybe even an acquisition strategy designed to accelerate growth. Over the next 3 to 5 years, you help grow the company and the EBITDA by 5 times. That $4 million you rolled in, it could be worth another $20 million at a second exit. So the first exit is $20 million, the second exit is $20 million, for a total of $40 million. And depending on your industry and the market for your specific skills, it doesn't have to stop after 2 exits. I've got another 40-year-old specialty subcontractor founder who is currently leading his old company as CEO with the backing of private equity dollars. They've gobbled up another 6 to 8 other subs over the last 3 years and are getting ready to sell again. This will be known as my client's second bite of the apple. Again, he's only 40, so he will very likely end up continuing to lead in some way for another 3+ years. This is why the question, how do I get out, is the wrong question. And the right question is, how do I position myself for the most valuable next chapter? Now, let's zoom out from the financials for a moment, because timing isn't just a financial decision, it's also a personal one. So here's a scenario I see more often than you think. Time goes on, you become an empty nester. The kids are heading to college, and you and your spouse have always talked about moving to a different state, maybe somewhere warmer, somewhere quieter, somewhere that's been on the list for years. And you're starting to think seriously about what that next chapter looks like. Well, here's the mistake. They wait until they're ready to move and then start thinking about selling. But deals take time, like we said. And unless you sell to a competitor, you're almost always going to need to be involved for, let's say, another 3 to 5 years post-sale to help grow the company with your new partners. Which means if you want flexibility to move in 5 years, you should start the process now. Now, let's talk about taxes. An area YouTube and TikTok gurus can either save you millions or get you into deep trouble. Tax planning saves you and your family from leaving Uncle Sam an unnecessary tip. But it takes time. That's the point. It takes time to implement. Chances are the tax team that you came into this business with is not necessarily the one you should exit with. So how do you find the right tax team to save you millions when you sell? Well, if you have a wealth advisor, hopefully a CFP or certified financial planner professional like myself, at bare minimum, they should have engaged you about this already. After all, your company is likely the largest single component of your net worth and also the biggest risk asset in your portfolio. You need a quarterback, a conductor of the symphony. This is what I do. I take your family's personal goals and values and reverse engineer the exit strategy to help you prioritize what to work on and when. This includes building the team and calling the plays. A team with no leader is just a bunch of highly skilled individuals running around the field doing whatever they think is best. If they score points, it's by chance. And an orchestra without a conductor is noise. So I connect every dot. Tax, legal, bankers, brokers. If their contribution makes a meaningful difference on what's wired to your account the day you sell your company, then I'm calling the plays. Here are some signs that you are in a strong position to think about selling. 1, your business is generating $1 million or more in annual profit. Now things start to get a lot more exciting around the $3 million profit mark. 2, year-over-year growth is strong or actively accelerating. 3, you still have energy for the business. 4, you're already getting offers to sell already. And a sophisticated buyer looking at your numbers today would see upside, not risk. If that describes you, there's a strong chance you're already in the ideal selling window. The conditions that make your business genuinely compelling to a premium buyer don't last indefinitely, and they're rarely obvious when you're in them. They're usually only obvious afterward. The best time to sell isn't the moment it becomes obvious. By then, you've already given something up. If you hear nothing else, here's what I'd like you to take from this video. 1. Sell on the upswing when you have momentum, leverage, and a growth story that commands a premium. 2. Think in terms of 2 exits, not 1. Structure your first deal in a way that positions you for a second. 3. Align your exit with your life timeline, not just your financial one. And 4. And start earlier than you think you need to, because the difference between those 2 decisions, early and strategic versus late and reactive, could easily be millions of dollars. So the way I see it, there are 2 paths from here. You can wait and hope things go well and try to time it perfectly later, or you can start thinking strategically now while you still have leverage, momentum, and options. If you want to understand what this all means for you, click the link in the description below. I'm happy to have a conversation about your numbers, your timeline, and your life goals so that you can make an informed decision about what's likely to be the biggest financial moment of your life. My goal would be to help you discover your number, the amount you need to net post-sale to help you de-risk your financial life and your family's next chapter. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.